Welcome. I started to think about something, and I'm just telling you what I was able to relate to, and hindsight, looking back. I remember when I first started out, trying to figure out this financial stuff because they don't teach us this in school. That's done on purpose. But I started to realize pretty quickly that when I started working at corporate America and work at these plants, I started to realize, man, this plan that I went to school for and got my degree and started working in these plants, I started to realize pretty quickly after about 6 months, I was like, man, I don't know if I signed up for the right thing. Because as I was young at the time, only 25 years old, I remember having my second child on the way. I'd bought a brand new home, I'd bought a brand new car, and then I was working on getting my second car. Now I'm making great money, but there was one big problem I saw, one huge problem, and that was this. Even though I had the great job and the money I was making was great and fantastic, the problem was I wasn't really enjoying it. What I was end up doing was it just seemed like I was spinning in circles financially, and I didn't have a life. I rarely got to spend time with my family. I didn't get to go out to events all the time. I didn't get to go on vacation because I spent more time at work than I did at home. And it was really starting to eat at me. And then worse than that, that was even though I was making great money at the same time, I'm spending more work or time at work than I was at home. And then I look at my check and it seems like I'm not getting nowhere. How am I working overtime? Sometimes working shift works. If you work shift work, you can work nights and make more money. And I'm doing all this and I'm still not getting ahead financially. And I've really started to think about this and I started to really start to research and say, man, I got to get out of this. I need to find out where all the successful people are and what they're doing. And sometimes some people have this argument like, man, it's too much work to try to start a new skill and learn something and get into real estate. But I started to realize, okay, if I don't change anything in my life, then I'm choosing my situation. And either one of them is going to be hard, but it didn't matter to me. That's just how I was thinking. If I want to become successful in real estate, because that's what I was trying to transition into, if I wanted to be successful in real estate, I knew it was going to be hard, and that's okay. But I said, if I keep doing what I'm doing and staying at my job and living check to check and being away from my family, that's going to be hard. The basic bottom line, guys, I'm going to tell you and be honest with you, no matter which one you choose, it's going to be hard. What's the best benefit? You'll never become rich at your, and this is how I was looking at it. I'll never become rich, and neither will you at your corporate America job. But you can become successful and rich and wealthy in real estate. It is possible, but I didn't want to live a life of regret. That was eating me away too. I says, what happens if I don't do this real estate? Because it's tugging at my emotions all the time. I said, man, I want to get into something that I can set my family up and myself as I go along instead of making somebody else's dreams come true. And that's really what it comes down to, whether you realize it or not. You don't have to believe me. You look at the statistics. Most people, when they retire, they end up being broke, miserable, unhappy, depressed, anxiety, on pills. It's because corporate America can drain you out and they won't even think anything of it. As opposed to if you wanted to, you can learn a new skill that nobody can take away from you. With my skill in real estate investing, nobody can lay me off. They can't downsize me. They can't furlough me. It can't happen because I've learned something that's separate from another entity, which is a job, just over broke. And all I'm here to do is encourage you guys. I know sometimes it can be scary to start a new venture. I know it could be tempting or easier to just stay where you're at. But as I started to think about this and dissect it and talking to successful people and people that have failed, um, people tend to live a life of regret. You start to get older and you start to look back and say, man, I wish that I took that opportunity. I wish I went to that event and what could have happened. Most people live a life of regret. Why not take a chance? You're either going to take a chance on yourself or you're going to give that up and give it to somebody else, like a job. And I haven't met a lot of people that are millionaires at corporate America. It just don't work like that. and it's set up like that. So I'm just telling you, it's worth taking a risk on yourself. Every person that has ever been successful, and I don't care what it is, they've always taken a risk. That's part of the game. You can minimize your risk. For example, in real estate, you can get a mentor, somebody that can help you out along the way. You need to read a lot of books. I went to a lot of seminars. I network with people. These are some of the things. Because so trust me, I had the same fears and concerns and pushback as you did. But I'm going to tell you something. One thing that I could not set myself to face was not taking a chance. And especially as you get older, it's the reality starts to really set in when you get older. So you start to get in your 40s and 50s, you start to realize, wait a minute, I got more life behind me than I do in front of me. And then you start to say, man, I wish I actually did some things and took some chances back then. But as you get older, then it really starts to sink in, man, I don't know if I can be able to do this. I'm too old, which you're never too old. But the point is, start where you're at now and just take a chance, take a risk. Because it doesn't matter which one you do, they're both going to be hard. I'm not going to say real estate investing is easy and you're not going to have any problems or mistakes. Yeah, you will. But it's all about how you bounce back from it. But the point is, either one of them is going to be hard. Living check to check and being broke and working at a job that you don't like, waking up early in the morning to a blaring alarm clock all the way until you're 40 and having no or 40 years and then being broke, or working hard, staying up late, doing a business, doing something that you enjoy, reaching out to other people, helping them, watching them get successful, and then you too as well. That's the key. And I'm just telling you from my standpoint, guys, I'm a real estate investor and I'm glad that I'm able to do this and teach others on how to do this too. But my point is, you got to choose your hard. You can choose your hard, like I said, working for somebody else and making them rich, or you can choose your hard and get into something like learning a skill like real estate investing and create your own dreams and dynasties for you and your family. Because if not, all you're doing is just leaving the loop open for the next people behind you. My daughter's in real estate. She does her own business. She does the online business. It's only because she followed me and saw me do it. And I'm happy that she did it. My son, the same way. He does fashion, but they're both entrepreneurs. And that's a beautiful thing. Because I always told him, don't ever follow a job just because of the money. Follow your passion. And I spent I spent 25 years at corporate America. And you got to start somewhere. Don't get me wrong, you have to start somewhere. But the point is, at some point, you should be saying, or maybe you want to say, hey, look, I'm getting tired of depending on someone else. Let me be independent instead of being codependent. So just something to think about. Choose your hard, working for somebody for the rest of your life, or doing the things that you want and not having a boss or having to deal with commuting to work or getting up on somebody else's time. You could do anything that you want to do if you put your mind to it. All right, guys, I'll see y'all in the next live. Y'all stay safe.